All right, happy Friday night, everybody. Welcome to the daily broadcast. We got a lot of stuff going on, including breaking news tonight from Don Williams, the Avalanche Journal, Kirby Hoga, Tech Athletics Director, demanding answers from the Big 12 about substandard officiating. Letter obtained by the Avalanche Journal, actually an email, to the Big 12 office. We'll get to that in a little bit. The Kansas City Chiefs just win, baby. Al Davis, he had it wrong. The Chiefs have it right. 14 straight victories, an NFL record, one score games. They do it again today in improbable fashion. We'll get your score predictions tonight for Texas Tech and West Virginia tomorrow in the season finale. We got a lot of Tech basketball if we want to get into that. And then the whole Big 12 thing, Colorado rolling. So we're going an hour early tonight. Yeah, that's what we're doing. It's the holidays. We got things to do. We want to hear from you. So jump in on that chat line, thanks to United Supermarkets and Market Street, where, by the way, pro tip, if you want to go shopping in peace, go the day after Thanksgiving. All right. So whether you're on X, Twitter, whether you're on YouTube, we love the YouTube people. Everybody on YouTube, give us thumbs up, share it, invite your friends in. Makes my wife happy. Apparently, it's good on the algorithm if you hit thumbs up and do that on YouTube. Same thing on Facebook Live. Glad to have the Facebook Live people. You guys get in on the comments tonight. Get your score predictions. Let's go in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com. You start your day there every day, our morning column. This week, we're a little off on the commentary portion. Usually around 11 o'clock in the morning, we have the 60 seconds of Raiderland posted for you. And it's a holiday weekend, but we'll be back and swing on that. And then, of course, the daily broadcast every night around 6:30, except tonight at 5:30. We're in the Arctic Air Studios. The air got a little Arctic overnight. If you don't think your heater can handle it, you need to call the bear. And tonight, we're brought to you by Domino's Pizza, Domino's.com. Get the app. You're a little tired of turkey dressing. It was great. It was wonderful. But you want to lay in some pizza for the weekend. So do it, and do it with Domino's Pizza. And, of course, South Plains College, the road to Raiderland runs through Levelland. A lot of great Texans started, or a lot of great Red Raiders started off as great Texans. We're all great Texans. So there you go. All right. Let's see. Every Friday, most Texan thing you've done. We get that from you. You know that. So you can tell us the most Texan thing you have done. We want your Tech West Virginia score predictions. I think you're going to be moderately shocked when I give you my predictions. We have Colorado rolling today over Oklahoma State. Just lay down and die, Oklahoma State. Was that the end of Mike Gundy? Very well could be. But I want to backtrack. It's not on the slug, and I apologize because just moments ago, Lubbock Avalanche Journal, Don Williams, we used to do a radio show together, posting an article, and I'm going to read from it verbatim. For those of you who are from Muleshoe or Littlefield, that means I'm going to read it the way it's written. It's Latin, darling. 2 days ago, after the Texas Tech football team's November 9 home loss to Colorado, Tech Athletics Director Kirby Hocutt emailed Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark, by the way, email is the key thing here, to complain about the quality of officiating in the game. It's the second time in 24 months he's known to have taken such a step. Tech released the email to the Avalanche Journal this week in response to an open records request. I'm going to stop right here, interject. Some Texas Tech wanted this out in the public. They wanted this email out. They wanted you to know. They wanted the AJ to file an open records request, anybody. They wanted you to know this. So just remember that. Tech wants this out there. So the email, Hocutt wrote to Yormark on November 11, I will call you in the morning. I'll call you in the morning, Brett. But I hope you will personally watch the video we submitted for the post-game officiating report in our game versus Colorado. I didn't want to say this to Greg or Scott for concern it would be shared with a crew that could be assigned to one of our last 2 games, but I believe you recognize that our level of officiating is unacceptable. We'll get to Greg or Scott here in a minute. All right? That's me. Which tells you where they think and how you think they operate in Big 12 officiating, that there could be retribution. That's critical to this early discussion. We must demand a higher level of performance and establish some accountability. I think any football coach would have to agree the missed calls had a significant impact on the outcome of our game versus CU. We need to have some in-depth and direct conversations as a group after this season is over. Simply, we must do better, said Kirby Hocutt. This would be even more cool if it had been written by Kirby Hocutt's wife. Or like voiced by Kirby Hocutt's wife. Pay Hunter cash dollars just to have Kirby just turn it over to his wife and say, take care of it. The two individuals Hocutt referred to by name are Greg Burks, the Big 12 coordinator of football officials, and Scott Draper, the Big 12 chief football and competition officers. Why would he be worried about those two being CC'd in it? Is he worried about retribution? Is there a reason? Is there past retribution? Is there problems when you speak out as an athletic director in the Big 12 against the officials and they do things to your team? He thinks there must be something to that. The article goes on, Avalanche Journal, Don Williams hat tip. Hocutt's communications with the conference office also became public after a Texas Tech loss at Baylor in 2019 and a Tech loss at TCU in 2022. Hocutt was reprimanded and fined in the first instance for issuing a statement the day after the game, in which he said the Big 12 acknowledged an officiating error. We remember that. We can't ever acknowledge an officiating error. They're federal judges, remember? Oh, they're not. After the TCU game 2 years ago, an officials review document showed Tech took exception with calls or no calls on 9 plays, and Burks agreed with Tech's position on 3 of the 9. Hocutt emailed Yormark after the game, too, saying the officiating was more egregious. I always think of Talladega Nights. It's egregious. And asking for conference-wide discussion. After Tech's 41-27 loss to Colorado 3 weeks ago, Tech coach Joe McGuire said the crew incorrectly called roughing the passer at a key moment, missed what McGuire called 5 obvious face masks. The officiating has to be better at this level, he added. 2 days later, McGuire was told by the conference office not to comment on officiating. Why can't we talk about officiating? We talk about everything else. The AJ opened a records request to Tech on any communication among Tech and Big 12 staff subsequent to the game, specifically including the review of the game. Officials, the Tech Office of General Counsel withheld some material saying it may contain proprietary information belonging to a third party. It has asked Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton for an open records decision. His office is busy with him running for Attorney General of the United States. When questions arose over officiating in 2022 in the Tech TCU game, Burks' review of the plays was made public nearly 4 months after the AJ Open records request. The week after the game, the attorneys for Tech and the Big 12 asked the review be kept private, and the Attorney General's office ordered public disclosure 4 months later. Referee Tuta Salam and back judge Chris Alston were the same in Tech's 2022 game against TCU and the recent game against Colorado. The response this week to the AJ's open records request also included an email Draper sent to the Big 12 athletics directors 4 days after the Tech Colorado game. McGuire had to take a field microphone and tell Tech students to stop throwing crap on the field. Draper's email detailed game administration procedures related to sportsmanship and fan behavior. And hello, here we are one more time. Go Kirby Hocutt. They wanted this out there. That's why it was done in an email. Anytime you send an email as a government official, and that's who they are, it can obviously be FOIA'd. They only do this when they want it out there. Tech desperately wanted this out there. It's out there. They wanted it out there. So run with it and have a good time with it. Now, Tech in West Virginia tomorrow. On to the football side. Give me your score predictions. Give me your thoughts on what I just gave you if you want to. You can give me Chiefs reactions, everything else. Basketball, we got Northern Colorado tonight at 7. Lady Raiders against Gonzaga. There at the Paradise Jam in St. Thomas. I've been fortunate enough to call that tournament a couple of times. Hopefully Mark Finkner and Chuck Hines are putting on some sunscreen while they're out there. So let's do it. And obviously the most Texan thing you've done this week, get in on the communication line. thanks to United Supermarkets. Good evening to Dorian. He's one of the first ones in on Twitter X. We appreciate that. Good evening to you. Hope your weekend's going well. Starter 179. So Tech was given the same officials as the old TCU game complaint we had. Does Kirby get any respect for the conference? Seems no. Well, they only got so many officials. They only got me so many times. They just show up. The problem is you can't get rid of them. That's the problem. You can't get rid of them. And apparently the Big 12 took in a bunch of the cast-offs from the Pac-12 this year. Joe says Tech 31, West Virginia 17. It's going to be chilly in the morning when this thing gets started. Will that affect either team? I don't know. It's 11 o'clock, holiday weekend. A lot of folks out of town. We've heard this old saw before. 31-17. Jan going Tech 45-38 in a shootout. Shootout with West Virginia. We shall see. I feel pretty good about this game. I actually do. I think Texas Tech, they should beat West Virginia. I've said this before. We've had this conversation a lot this year that they should do something. I really think this Joey McGuire team is going to close it out. Pretty good fashion against Fighting Neil Brown. I think I like Tech. And, I mean, we're not going to hang out forever tonight. We got things to do. That's why I want you guys to get involved early, thanks to United Supermarkets, to get your comments in, your questions in, your score predictions in, everything else. Maybe tell us how everything went for Thanksgiving. We all doing all right? I was miserable last night. I mean, it started off with incredible breakfast. Anytime you got biscuits and chocolate gravy, I don't know what's going to go wrong. Nothing's going to go wrong. And then we just kept on going throughout the day. And my wife made this amazing ham. And then I got on the dressing and the mashed potatoes, and I just kind of kept going back and forth. I really don't even need protein on Thanksgiving. I truly don't. But we had some. So knock it out. Give your score predictions tonight. Everything else. Starter, Tim DeRuyter is coaching for his job tomorrow. That would be the Tech defensive coordinator, and I would say not so fast, my friend. I don't think Tim DeRuyter will be fired. If DeRuyter leaves, it's of his own volition, and he takes another job, which I think he seems to like it here, probably. Same thing with Zach Kittley. I don't believe either coordinator is coaching for their job tomorrow against West Virginia. That doesn't mean both, either or all will be back. But I'm here to tell you right now, neither coordinator is coaching for their job tomorrow, particularly Tim DeRuyter. CJ, my thoughts about the officials. What are we going to do about it after the game is over? They need to throw the red flag. Well, they need to. Okay, first off, officials need to be accountable after the game to justify what they saw. The referee, the white hat, has to go in and talk to the media after every game. If 18 to 23-year-olds can do it and coaches can do it, they can do it. Now, after that, there needs to be a much more strenuous review, pay scale reduction. You get busted out. You want to work in the Big 12. It's not a forever job. That the officials believe that they are unencumbered by anything and any accountability. Accountability needs to be public. Accountability is public for the players and the coaches. It needs to be public. The report and review of the officiating should be published by the Big 12 office every week. So fans, coaches, players, and everybody alike can see who did good, who did bad. Well, then who's going to want to be official? Pay them more. Somebody's going to want to be an official. Trust me on that. We still keep having games. Who's going to be an official? We still keep having games. Tech 37-35 in a close game against West Virginia. It's Mike on Facebook. We got our YouTube people in. We got our Twitter people in. We always have big Twitter crowds, and it's weird. It usually takes a while for the Twitter people to jump in on the United Supermarkets chat line. That's cool, though. We get it. The Utah coach was complaining that a lot of the bad officials from the Pac-12 got jobs in the Big 12. Yes, of course, they've been complaining about a lot of things. The biggest complaint Utah has is they have to play in the Big 12 now against teams. Yeah, you do. The freaking Chiefs again. Hey, technically they didn't even win it on the final play of the game. So how boring was that? That the next to the last play of the game, the Raiders fumble the snap, Chiefs fall on it, and they win. It's getting a little bit ridiculous. Even my wife is like, "This is getting a real." She's like, "I'm beginning to understand the people that are getting upset at the Chiefs." I'm like, "Yeah, I get it. Just win, baby. Take that, Al Davis." Peyton jumping on. 49-10 Texas Tech on the score prediction. Hey, don't forget, we can talk Tech basketball if you want. Northern Colorado tonight. What are we about? An hour and a half or so away. 7 o'clock tip off. Ain't nobody going to be there. It'll be a dead environment. It will be just really kind of early season practice basketball. Texas Tech's got to roll them. They need to win by 20 to 25. Develop some more killer instinct on that. The Lady Raiders, 7 o'clock against Gonzaga. Lady Raiders last night, the first period got them. They got down 17-9, whatever it was. They played a really good second period, drew back. I think they won every period after that by this much, but it wasn't enough to come back and get Florida State. So now you get Gonzaga down there in St. Thomas. It's just a bad start. Couldn't overcome it. Let's see. Thoughts on later. There you go. They dug themselves a hole in the first period. Played great after that, but just not great enough. They didn't have that kind of dominant, 10-point, 12-point gap that Florida State had early on. I think they're better than they were last year. I think they're going to be okay. They just still don't have a huge margin of error. And then I've done a million of these tournaments over the years where you go to St. Thomas or Hawaii or Puerto Rico or wherever, the Bahamas, and I didn't go there. Cancun. It's real hit and miss on the kind of performance you're going to get out of a team in those environments. I've seen good teams look bad teams look good. We'll see. Not a bad loss by any stretch. Just probably could have won it if you don't play like absolute dog crap in the first period. Trying to figure out what my dogs are getting mad at outside. You never know. Here outside the Arctic Air Studios on a holiday weekend. I hope you guys have had a great time this weekend. This weekend. It's Friday. I have no idea what day of the week it is. It's freaking Friday. You know? Let's see. Off the Facebook Transom Texas stamp site. We might be related. The most Texan thing I've done, let my dad pick a sliver of glass out of my foot with his pocket knife that he wiped off on his jeans. I can verify that this is a true and factual story about most Texan thing that anybody I've seen done this week. I gave it a go. All I got out was like some sort of plastic stuff. Now, some would say that if a person doesn't walk around barefoot all the time, perhaps they might not get a sliver of glass in their foot. That's just me sitting over here. All right, so for those who got in late, and we're not going to have it slugged, we're going to have it slugged on the replay post at theraiderland.com and on Twitter and everything. Go read the Don Williams story about Kirby Hocutt going off to the Big 12 about officiating. And it's out there because Texas Tech wanted it out there. Anytime you get FOI stuff back this quick and everything else, that's because the school wants it out there. They put out the information they want, and they obfuscate the stuff they don't want out there, and they hide behind everything they can. In this case, they obviously wanted it out there. Don did a nice job of piecing it together. The question becomes then what? What do we do about officiating? How do you make it better? How do you have more accountability? And I still wish that Diane Hocutt had written the letter instead of Kirby, because I think it would have been even cooler if that had happened. Texas Tech and West Virginia predictions before we get out of here tonight. Whatever else may be on your mind. All right. I think Tech rolls tomorrow. I really do. I look at where West Virginia is, and I think Kirby Hocutt. I think Joey McGuire has done a really good job finishing out seasons. I think he has them geared to the idea of you get the 8th win, you get the 9th when you've done something that hadn't happened in a long time around Texas Tech to create that. And I also think West Virginia is just playing it out. That if you can get on them early, and you got to get on them early because it starts early at 11 a.m., I think Texas Tech wins this fairly easily. I've got it 38-17 Texas Tech. Could be, I looked at about a 41, but, backed off that. And I said 38-17, but you're in control the whole way. And maybe they even get a late score. That you're sitting there in the fourth quarter and you've got it in control, and maybe Will Hammond is out there taking a few snaps. It don't cost nothing. But I think Texas Tech rolls this game. And then Tech fans are going to be in this odd conundrum of you hadn't been getting 8 wins. You hadn't win in 9 games, even a bowl game lately. But you wanted so much more out of the season. And you just kind of described a lot of teams in the Big 12. Now, metaphysically, Texas Tech still a chance, theoretically. But, yeah, I don't think so. Probably not going to happen. Talking Big 12. CJ, it is funny how the official is standing there looking, and it's obvious replay he didn't make a call. Which call are you talking about, dude? Got to be more, shall we say, specific when you do something like this. You got to be really specific on your comments because nobody knows what you're referring to. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying this is like a caller seminar that Rush Limbaugh used to do that I help you comment better. When you comment on deals like this, when you have to type it in, be unbelievably specific. Write more than you would normally write. It ain't sending me a text message. Because I want you guys to be prolific commenters, and I want you guys to do well. Starter 179. If we win, I'm ecstatic. Wish we would have given Brooks the ball in the TCU game. We could be in line for 10 games, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of wish in between, do this, do that, and different things. But here you are. Well, that's what you got to deal with right now. And I think that was the tone of Joey McGuire on the Monday press conference this week when he sat out there at Jones Stadium, and you could tell he was talking to himself as much as the media, talking about leaving chicken on the bone, and just that the frustrating part was that he looks at Arizona State, Colorado, he looks at all these teams and goes, and he knows that they're not any really that much fundamentally different than Texas Tech, and that if his team could have had any sort of better defense, any sort of more opportunistic offense at various times, if they could have just played a little bit better, that there you are. But that's the margin of error we talk about when you're just not that great. And Tech's not that great. They're good. This is a good football team. Not great. They're a good team. Great teams don't have to worry about that, one possession before the half or giving up that one. No, I thought they make it up. Tech can't. Nobody in the Big 12 can. There are no great teams in the Big 12. There are a lot of really good football teams in the Big 12. More good football teams in the Big 12 than the SEC. I have enjoyed the SEC Big 12 beatdown and everything else that's been going on. I love it. That they might have a singular great team year in and year out, maybe two, not anymore. But the Big 12 is harder to play in than the SEC is right now. CJ going 37-24 Red Raiders. That's modern college football. Everything is won or lost in the margins. maybe 2 or 3 elite teams. And it's the margin is going to be compressing more. And I will go back again and say everybody who rails against NIL and transfer portal and everything else, you're dead wrong. It's making the game better, more competitive, and it gives Texas Tech a much greater chance than ever before since the early 70s, since the scholarship reduction down to 105 from infinity, and what drove Darrell Royal and Frank Broyles out of the coaching game in 1976, the rise of Texas Tech in the mid-70s, early 70s under Jim Carlin. This is the best time since then for Texas Tech to be a national power. Period. End of sentence. I said national power. I said compete on a national level. That's what I said. You've never had a better chance. So don't hate on NIL. Look around college football right now. Don't hate on it. Don't hate on transfer portal. Maximize it. Utilize it. Do what you can with it. And now if it doesn't happen, here's kind of a funny thing here. It's on you, the fan. Yeah. I think that's why some of the fans don't like it now, because now you guys got to write the checks. You get to write the checks. You can't sit back anymore and say, well, we just can't compete because these people are. No, hey, dude, pony up. You want it, you go get it. It's that simple. Like there are more than a few fans flying the Hoover flag. Google that if you don't know what the Hoover flag is from the Depression. Then now all of a sudden just want to cry, oh, we can't do that. All right. Big 12 team may not even make the college football playoff, they're saying. They're wrong, and particularly as of last night, Big 12 champion is in for sure. Don't know if we'll get 2. Champion's in for sure. I think might get 2. Let's see. I would like starters theory. I like your theory on why Oklahoma State crashed so hard, returned all the seniors, ended up 0-9 in conference. Quick thoughts on that. Mike Gundy is Jay Wright, Villanova, without being Jay Wright and a championship coach. Gundy's heart's not in it. Yeah, he brought people back. They weren't really that good. He didn't add anything in the transfer portal. He's not bought in. And I think he's got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. I think the players know that. There's also, from what I've heard, a lot of inside, if not turmoil, just frustration that, hey, I see what all my buddies are getting at other schools. They aren't doing this for me. I can't wait to get the hell out of here and go somewhere else. The bottom line is Mike Gundy doesn't want to coach college football right now, but he's coaching college football and taking a $5 million check. He probably won't be very soon. I thought we already answered that. Oh, do we not? Hold on. Nope. Sorry, I thought I saw another comment come up. So yeah, to me, that's it. Mike Gundy spent 3 years telling all the players, I don't like this. I don't believe in it. And they took him up on it. No shock. No shock whatsoever. But it does go to show you, or show to go you, how quickly it is. Penthouse down to the outhouse in college football. And Tech's never truly been in the outhouse. And they knocked on the door of the penthouse a couple of times, and they were like, you can't come in. What do you mean? No, you can't come in. You sure? Yeah, you can't come in. And that's the way it's been for Texas Tech a couple of times over the decades. All right, real quick, maybe a couple of more minutes. Your predictions, Texas Tech and West Virginia tomorrow. We will be with you after the game for Raiderland Rewind. Can't wait. Going to be fun. We'll recap it. We'll recap the regular season. Heck, we'll be able to talk some more Texas Tech basketball this time tomorrow. And we'll see how many leftovers you got lying around, because really it's kind of Sunday, I think, when you begin to finish off the leftovers, right? Right now you want some Domino's pizza, get out, get some hot wings, a little bit of different stuff. But Sunday night you're like, yeah, I can eat that. I mean, Sunday night, if we got any pecan pie left, that's probably when I will have it. In all, all things being equal. All right, you guys are the best. We enjoy hanging out. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you for spending a little time with us on a Friday afternoon evening, here after Thanksgiving, talking about this. I ask you to do one more thing tonight. Share this with your friends. Put it on Twitter. Put it on YouTube. Wherever you may be watching. On Facebook. We're going to post this on the website here in just a little bit. And you guys can jump in and share that as well. Thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow after the game on Raiderland Rewind at theraiderland.com.